involved in a science and math consortium through the college system, whereby they're building their capacity relative to their instructional strategies and their instructional planning. They recognize that student attention spans are short, and we need to keep learning both relevant and rigorous through activity-based learning. And so over the process of the last year and a half, teachers have been rebuilding their skills such that we're confident they'll be able to maintain the interest of their students in a block of math. Taking a look at the 8th grade schedule, again, on the left-hand side is what we currently have, and you can see it's all 43-minute blocks. One of the things that's different about our current schedule at 8th grade is students are not receiving a block of English language arts. They receive a single 43-minute period. And we've identified this as an issue for several years now because there's a similar amount of learning targets in the 8th grade English language arts curriculum as there is in 6th and 7th, but our current schedule only allows the teacher half as much time to cover that material, which has caused us issues as far as the level of student proficiency. Math, science, social studies, foreign language are all 43-minute periods currently. And if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see something there where 8th grade is different from 7th in that rather than automatically thinking that we might implement a double period of English language arts and math, we're looking at two different options. One option actually has English language arts at a period and a half where they each have their full period and then they share a period. And the way they would do that would be on an every other day schedule. One day English language arts would have 2 periods and math would have 1, and the next day math would have 2 periods and English language arts would only have 1. One of the reasons that we were looking at this model is because it would offer students then an extra period of allied options. So now rather than having 2 periods of the day, they would be working with allied and elective classes, this would actually offer them 3 periods a day of an allied and electives. So a greater breadth of different types of coursework. With that stated, science and social studies would stay similar. They would each have 1 period of 40 minutes, and again, they have an ability to block if they would so desire. One of the other things that's become a point of interest is how we might work world language. Currently, at the 8th grade level, world language is what we would call a course that is required for about 80% of our students. About 20% of the students at both middle schools are put into intervention courses because they have a significant amount of educational gaps in their learning. The other 80% of students are involved in a world language of their choice, either French, Spanish, or German. We could continue with similar programming, or we could choose to have foreign language be an elective course for students. And there's some questions that we're still trying to seek a greater level of knowledge relative to what we feel would be outcomes of that decision. But again, we're trying to keep the best interests of our students in mind. The other way that 8th grade scheduling could occur would be to have math and English language arts both receive a double period. That's where it says 82 minutes each. And if we do that, then the outcome of that is the allied options for 8th grade would be very similar to 7th in that there would be 2 periods a day that students would be able to make elective selections of things that they're most interested in. It should also be stated that we still have an IE, an intervention and enrichment time, which again, if a student is involved in interventions, we'll address those needs in that period. But if they're showing proficiency in their studies, then they would have an ability to take elective coursework. This is an example of an 8th grade schedule. And the way that it's put up here, you can see at the bottom of, about middle of the page, just below the boxes, it says English language and arts, maybe 1.5 periods per day. And we've set this up as if it's a 1.5 period type where math and English language arts in the boxes each takes up a period. That would be the 82 minutes each. But if you were to have periods 1, 2, and 3 with English language arts and math, then that 4th period would actually be another opportunity for an allied. One of the things that should be noted is science and social studies, like the other schedules, is right tight together, which allows the teachers to coordinate and decide if they want to block social studies and science, or if they want to keep them as separate 40-minute periods the way it's shown on the screen currently. Taking a look at the PE and music, it should be noted that again, PE and music would be an every other day option, and you still see the electives underneath at the bottom of this slide. It talks about 5 per semester in an every other day, and some could be all year. So it depends on what the elective that's selected by the students. If the elective is something like orchestra or band or choir, these would be an all-year selection, and it would be every other day. On the other case, if it was something like family consumer science, this would be an every other day course for a semester, which would get them approximately 1/4 or 9 weeks worth of curriculum.
In gathering feedback for the last 2 years, we have heard clearly from our stakeholders that our community is proud currently of the transitions we have in place, both from 5th to 6th grade and again from 8th to high school. Please know that we have every intention, if we do indeed adopt a new master schedule, to continue providing smooth transitions. In fact, one of the pieces of feedback that we heard at our last parent meeting was, if anything, 8th graders could benefit from a schedule that is a bit more like a high school schedule as opposed to the traditional middle school schedule. And that alludes again to what Dr. Hess shared about the increased choice at the 8th grade. The other concept that we have every intention of continuing is that of teaming at the middle level. We've had tremendous success, and we want to continue providing an education to the whole child, taking into consideration their social and emotional development as well as their academic development. Please feel free to join us on Monday, October 27th at the board committee meeting, when we will share further details about a proposed plan, and also at a meeting of the full board Monday, November 10th. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to contact Dr. Hess or me. We would be happy to have further discussions with you. As always, thank you for your continued support of the Wausau School District.